Hey guys, how are you?
I'm fine.
Hi, teacher.
Good
Hi,
morning.
teacher. I'm fine.
Good
Good
morning,
Good
teacher.
morning. Hi,
Morning.
teacher. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Jóvenes, buenas tardes. A nombre del campus Villahermosa les damos las más cordiales de las bienvenidas a este círculo de lectura en inglés que se lleva a cabo a través del Centro de Información en coordinación con la coordinación de lenguas extranjeras y está con nosotros Catalina Arias Rodríguez, ella es la jefa del Centro de Información. Bienvenida, maestra. Y también se encuentra con nosotros Larisa Paizabal Mayo, ella es la coordinadora de lenguas extranjeras. Bienvenida.
Muchas gracias.
Y pues bueno, vamos a dar inicio con este círculo de lectura, el cual se lleva a cabo en el marco de los festejos del 47º aniversario de la fundación de nuestro Tecnológico Nacional de México, Campus Villahermosa. Adelante, maestra, por favor.
Muchas gracias.
Ilústrenos con todo este bagaje de información que usted nos trae.
Claro que sí. Okay, so guys, you know the dynamics. We are going to be reading some short stories from some of the most renowned writers in history, in English history. So, as I said, I'm going to be explaining a little bit with translations. Bienvenidos. Vamos a estar leyendo y opinando sobre una de las cuantas historias cortas que les mandé sobre varios temas en general de los más destacados escritores de la literatura inglesa. Okay, can I have a volunteer so they can give their opinion and read a little bit? Okay, Fidel, can you give us the part that you like the most and your opinion about the reading?
Okay, so I have to read a little part of the book, or I explain what I like of the book in general.
Okay. Which book was it?
The book I read is The White Hare and the Crocodile.
Okay. And what did you think about it? Can you give us like a paragraph or a quote that you like about that?
Sorry, and I got a cut out. I don't know why, but I can't hear what you say after I got out.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Can you tell us a quote or your opinion about what you read?
Okay, my opinion of the book and generally, well, it's a book I chose because when I started to read, I feel like the old books when was a child. I remember the the form of the beginning because it's of story of a character who have a dream to go back a island, well, a place called Inaba. Inaba. The character who is the white hair, he lives in an island of Oki, but he can't go off the island to the Inaba because it's a long way to the sea. Then he was a little sad, but in the but on the story he remembers a character who lives nearby, I think, and he lives close in the sea, who is the crocodile. So he tricks him to tell him that it's known many crocodiles in the sea. So the crocodile say, "Yeah, we are so many crocodiles in the sea that we can prove to you." So the bunny, the white hair say that, well, if you are so many crocodiles in the sea, how well you can go to the island, to Inaba, forming a bridge of crocodiles. And that story, well, it's a story who has morality of the truth of the lies of what it's the real reason of the bond of the white hair to tell a crocodile who made a line of bridge of crocodiles to the sea. Well, the crocodile realized
Excuse
that
me.
white hair.
Excuse me. What are you talking about the crocodile? What does that mean? En español, ¿qué es?
Tengo que decirlo también en español.
No, puedes
not
decirlo en español,
necessarily.
¿no?
No necesariamente. Like we are having like this discussion in English. In English.
So I continuing in English or
Yes.
Spanish?
In English, it's okay in English.
Okay. Well, what I say of the crocodile, it's the crocodile. It was just a little character who wants to prove.
Who wants to prove?
I don't know who, but someone is quiet to me. Who is telling me? I don't know, but well,
I don't think
the
so. I'm the only.
crocodile wants to prove that they are so many in the sea, like they can go to the island of the where the white hair is stay to the Inaba, and
Okay.
well, como lo digo, the Inaba place, it was how to say travel to the continental. So you can imagine that it's a long travel to go in the sea. Well, the white hair tell to the crocodiles that it was to his backs and counting one on one to other side of the sea, so they can really prove that they are many crocodiles. Well, in the moment who almost go to the finish, the white hair, he say the well in the book say say a ver, yeah, he say, "Oh, you stupid crocodiles! Now I have done with you." And in the book, well, it started cool, and he was just about to run away as fast as he could, but he did not escape so easily. For so soon as the crocodiles understood that this was a trick played upon them by their hair, so as to enable him to cross the sea, and that take her was now laughing at them for their stupidity. They became fiercely angry and made up their minds to take revenge. So some of them ran after the hare and caught him. Then they all surrounded the poor little animal and pulled out all his fur. Well, to me, that was a really cruel way to revenge of the hare, because it was just one hare, but in some morality way, the hare it was a bad person because he lied to the crocodiles. But the crocodiles, well, they are animals, but they don't have to damaged so much to the little hair because they pulled his fur and gave him a scars and damaged so much. Well, the little hair, well, he understood in the end of the story because it appeared a king who who give him some little help and a reasonable thought of the idea that him it was a really bad person to trick of the crocodiles. So that was a little reason why I love the story because has a morality, but it's a morality of the good and evil in circumstances.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for your participation, Fidel. Let's
Okay.
try from now on to keep them shorter because there's at least 74 persons or people here, and we only have like an hour, a little bit more than an hour. So let's try to keep it like what you loved or liked about the story, or and a little fragment of the story, a little quote, a little paragraph. I mean, you don't have to give me the whole story in your participation. You just have to say, "Oh, I like this story because," and then read a little bit of the story. Okay? Do you all understand? ¿Todos entendieron esto?
Yes, I
Yes,
do.
yes, teacher.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
teacher.
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
teacher.
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So let's move on with Jorge Alberto Hernandez.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. And the story that I am pick is The Hills Like White Elephants. And the story is by one of my favorite writers. He's Ernest Hemingway. And the
He's one of my
story
favorite
is
writers too.
the premise is so simple, a fight between a couple, something very common. And at the beginning of the story, I did not understand there were many symbols that the author left, and after several readings, I understood. And the authors make it clear that the couple have a problem, and the problem was a surgery that have the girl, but the surgery that the couple refers is an abortion. Why? Because the story have a lot of metaphors, and the metaphors essential is the white elephant. A white elephant in the American culture referred some gift, but have and brings a very few benefits, but at the long in the future have a lot of problems. And the thing that I like me in the story is the message that is that we must be intelligent to understand that the decisions we make that in the future all we have achieved are not good gifts but rather ugly and annoying white elephants. And for me it's a great story and a short story but with a
Order.
huge message. And this is my resume for that great story.
Thank you so much, Jorge. That was an amazing participation, and it was really spot on. Thank you for noticing all the metaphors that there were in the story. And Hemingway is one of my favorite writers too. That's why I assigned that reading too. Thank you so much. Okay, next one we have Bolivar Josue Aguirre.
Okay, the history I read was the remarkable rocket. My favorite paragraph is when the king let the fireworks begin. Uh, they say, "Let the fireworks begin," and the royal pyrotechnics make a low bow and march it down to the end of the garden. He had 6 attendants with him, each of whom carried a lighted torch at the end of the long pole. It was certainly a magnificent display. In my opinion, I think this story has an important message to share with the readers. It's a critical of the function of some people in the society. They tell us how the rocket lose all their value when they're wet, because they get wet because he cried a lot, and the society throwing out of their circle, their social class, and they lose everything they have. The rocket get very alone in the story, and it's an important critique of how the society uh, get out of what they don't use or they don't like.
Okay. Thank you so much, Oliver, for your participation. Perfect. Let's go with Argenis Morales, please.
Yes, it's me. Okay, the short story I chose was Heels Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. And my favorite fragment is the girl stood up and walked to the end of the station. Across on the other side were fields of grain and trees along the banks of the Ebro. Far away beyond the river were mountains. The shadow of a cloud moved across the field of grain, and she saw the river through the trees. And we could have all this, she said, and we could have everything, and every day we make it more impossible. And my opinion is, from my point of view, the description of this place, it seems like a peaceful place. So the girl wanna be in a place with peace because all she gets is negative things from the man. He was in the habit of going against what the girl said on principle. And also she feels tired because of the sunny day and the hot it is. And the teaching, according to what I understood, the teaching of this short story is to be a good partner, because if you support the person, their dreams come true. But if you are a selfish person that doesn't support your partner, you shouldn't be there in that friendship or that relationship. That's all.
Thank you so much, Argenis. Okay, let's move on with Oscar Andres Perez Garcia, please.
Yes, teacher. um, Hi, my name is Oscar, and the story that I choose is The White Hart and the Crocodiles. Do you listen to me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and the paragraph that I choose is the following. Oh, I did not know that you were Okumi Nushi no Mikoto. How kind you have been to me. It's impossible to believe that Unkin fellow who sent me to bathe in the sea is one of your brothers. I'm quite sure that the princess whom your brothers have gone to seek will refuse to be the bride of any of them, and will prefer you for your goodness of heart. I'm quite sure that you will win her heart without intending to do so, and she will ask to be your bride. um, I choose this paragraph because it's cute for me, and talk about what counts is what is in the heart, in your heart. Um, then this paragraph leaves a good message for the people. And it's useless to be handsome or have money if you don't have godness in your heart. It's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Oscar. It was really nice. Okay, next we have Paola Marina. Please, can
Yes.
you give us your opinion?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the history of Remarkable Rocket by Oscar Wilde. And my favorite part is when all the rockets start to talk to each other. And well, I just read a little bit of that. Just give me a moment.
Yes.
Okay. Um, this part starts when the pyrotechnics had put everything in its proper place. The fireworks began to talk to each other. "The world is certainly very beautiful," cried a little skip. "Just look at those yellow tulips. If they were real crackers they could not be lovelier. I'm very glad I have travelled. Travel improves their mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudices." Um, then the big Roman candle says, "The king's garden is not the world, you foolish skip. The world is an enormous place, and it will take you 3 days to see it thoroughly." And all the rockets start to talk and discuss about their own opinions. And then the remarkable rocket start to talk with his a really vain person. He says, "How fortunate it is! How fortunate it is for the king's son that he is to be married on the very day on which I am to be let off. Really, if it had been arranged beforehand, it could not have turned out better for him. But princes are always lucky." He's really a vain person. Then, this story tries to teach us a lesson in humility when we see the story of the rocket who was a vain person. And it's true. But beyond that, I would like you to ask yourself the following question. Was the rocket really that miserable? Did it really have such a sad ending? When I read the story, we could see all the characters had different opinions. Some thought that the world was surrounded them and they were satisfied with it. Even when others told them that the world was bigger than that, and others did not believe in love. The point is, each of them had their own beliefs and opinions, and the rocket, for example, keep believing keep believing to the end. I did not like the rocket, but he was true to his beliefs until the end, and although I personally think it came to a miserable end, he seemed satisfied in the end. We must understand that every action and every word we say has consequences. In the case of the rocket, he ended lonely, but he don't ¿cómo se dice? Que no parecía.
He didn't seem.
Okay. He don't seem sad. He at the end he seems so satisfied, and I think we should all be free to believe in who we want, and of course, as long as we don't hurt anyone. In the end, we should respect what others believe, because a person will not change if he don't want to. Maybe he he was happy like this, and even if we don't like it. So besides a lesson in humility, I think it also teaches about tolerance, and it's all. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Paola. Now that you say that, like you touched this subject, you mentioned this subject, I believe it was Voltaire who said, agree with your opinion, but I will give my life for you to express it. I think that's the way it goes. That phrase that Voltaire said about freedom of speech. So yes, it has a lot to do with that as well. Thank you so much for your participation, Paula. Anabella Galmiche, Nave, hi, how are you? Can you give us your opinion on the short story you read?
Hi, teacher. How are you?
Good.
The name of this reading is The Remarkable Rocket by the author Oscar Wilde. The world is certainly very beautiful, cried a little squib. Just look at those yellow tulips. Why, if they were really sharks, they could not be lovers. I am very glad I have traveled. Travel improves the mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudice. The king's garden is not the world, you foolish squib, said a big Roman candle. The world is an enormous place, and it will take you 3 days to see it thoroughly. Any place you love is the world to you. In my opinion, I can say that the phrase travel improves the mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudice. It's referred to traveling to another place, but I like it because it reminds you that the person who reads can not only travel but live many lives apart from yours. That is why it is very important to read, to get to know cultures from other places, so that the mind travels without the need to transport the body.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nave. Azucena del Carmen Perez, can you give us your opinion on your reading, please?
Hi, everybody. The story I chose was like Hills Like with Elephants. I will read part of the story that most caught my attention. Okay, I think it's the best thing to do, but I don't want you to if you. I really don't want to. I want if to you will be happy and things will be as before and you will love me. I love you, you know. You know I love you. Okay. At the beginning of the story, I like to here recounts the landscape in detail, without knowing that the story I will take a turn. That has a dark story. Then a couple is told arguing and investigate, and the fight is about man trying to convince the woman to have an abortion,
Abortion.
abortion, excuse me,
Yeah.
abortion. That the bad thing is that is one unfinished. And the good thing is the woman could decide with you a male approval. Male approval. I read that they generate controversy for Science for the year published. I will. It was a sensitive topic to talk about. Thanks.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much for your opinion and your participation, Azucena. It was really nice. Alan Jair, can you please give us your opinion on your reading and a little fragment of what you read?
Yes, of course. Hi. Well, I read The Remarkable Rocket by Oscar Wilde, and the quote that I chose was, "Any place you love is the world to you," exclaimed a pensive Catherine Wheel, who had been attached to an old deal box in early life, and prided herself on her broken heart. But love is not fashionable anymore. The poets have killed it. And for me, the tale shows a rocket as a representation of the human being, how the ego and pride in us can be overcome, and what this represents to our surroundings, and that we are not better than anyone else. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alan. Now we have Mercedes. Can you give us your opinion, please, on your reading?
Yes, I choose The Goblin and the Huckster by Hans Andersen.
Okay.
Well, the reading talks about the goblin's choice between the huckster and a poor student. The curiosity of the goblin begins with a book of poetry that the student bought from the businessman. At first, the goblin chose the huckster because at Christmas he always had a dishful of ham, and the student had nothing to offer. But his book starts when he contemplates the poetic understanding on the student, and the paragraph more I like is from the book shoot forth a ray of light which grew broad and full like the stem of a tree, from which bright light spread upward and over the student's head. Coming back to the story, after a fight the goblin relays his true feelings and chooses to not give up anyone. To finish, I would like to say that I really like this story and I understand the author's point of view. The goblin is a perfect representation of human nature. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mercedes. That was a really nice like your opinion was really nice. Thank you. Miguel Antonio Martinez, can you go next, please?
Um, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Well, I chose the short story "The Hills Looks Like White Elephants" by Ernest Hemingway. And to me, this story is interesting and a little sad, because at first sight, it just seems like a couple that is wasting time and drinking at the bar to then get the train. But if you pay attention and go deeply in the conversation, you can realize that they are going through with a situation. Jit, that is the name of the girl, is pregnant, and the American is trying to persuade her to do an operation, saying, all is gonna be okay and I'll stay with you. It's a simple operation, Jake. And you can see that the girl is confused about what should she does with the baby. But to me, all this thought, arrangement or conversation, whatever you want to refer to, help her to clean her mind and take her own decision about this. And we realize it when at the end, the girl says, I feel fine and there is nothing wrong with me. And then, in that point, you know that she is ready to go through. And this is my point of view. And I would like to read a little fragment of this lecture. Okay. The warm wine blew the big curtain against the table. The beer is nice and cool, the man said. It's lovely, the girl said. It's really an awfully simple operation, Jake, the man said. It's not really an operation at all. The girl looked at the ground the table legs rested on. I know you wouldn't mind it, Jake. It's really not anything. It's just to let the air in. The girl did not say anything. I'll go with you and I'll stay with you all the time. They just let the air in and it's all perfectly natural. Then what will we do afterward? We'll be fine afterward, just like we were before. What makes you think so? That is the only thing that bothers us. It's the only thing that is made us unhappy. And that is the fragment that I really feel. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think there are some short stories that when I asked you to read the part you like the most, I think I should have asked you to read the part that caught your eye the most. I know that they're not all like pretty stories, especially this one, but I think there's a lot of message and there's like this controversy around some of the stories, and there's a lot to learn from all of them. Thank you so much, Miguel. Alexis, Eduardo, can you give us your opinion, please?
Yes, okay. My opinion, the short story, The Rocket of Oscar Wilde.
Mhm.
When I read this short story, you can clearly notice a typical English tale because you can end up with a negative feeling. English writers really like to give that sense. Oscar Wilde mentioned this in one of his other works, such as the Portrait of Dorian Gray. We can clearly see how the characters light the fireworks talk to each other and show envy, selfishness, sadness, and disappointment. The Rocket Woo, the Rocket Woo is the main character, show how the ego can get away from our goal in life. We might change the negative comments in our lives, but ignore all our surroundings. Just to fit what we want to hear about. Use can cause a lot of trouble with others. At last, I would like to add how this story started as a tragic comedy, developing to a sad and with a meaningful ending. Even though everything looked complicated, we can think our happy ending it will depend on our inner self. Mm. The
Yes.
Okay, the paragraph is the one I liked the most in the short story is goes like fish, 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 and he went straight up into the air. The telephone he cried, I shall go on like this forever. What a success I am. But nobody saw him. Then he began to feel a curious tingling sensation all over him. Now I am going to explode, he cried. I shall set the whole world on fire and make such a noise that nobody will tell about anything else for a whole year. And he certainly did explode. Bang, 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 went the gunpowder. There was no doubt about it. I'm finished.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your participation, Alexis. Now, can we have Carlos Manuel Esteban, please?
Hi. Um,
Hi.
I read the history the Goblin and the Hooter has Andersen. The part that I like the most was when the Goblin. It was the that he understood what feelings were really stronger in his hair and know exactly which what they tended, since he had realized what his partner told him. Um, my opinion, the story is very nice. The read for a will and it has very good characters and nice reflection. Nice. This
Okay. Thank you so much, Carlos, for your opinion. Can we have Anne Rox Cruz Romero, please?
Hi, well, the text that I chose is Hills Like White Elephants. The paragraph that I liked the most was the girl looked at the beaded curtain, put her hand out and took hold of two of the strings of beads. And you think then we'll be alright and be happy? I know we will. You don't have to be afraid. I've known lots of people that have done it. So have I, said the girl. And afterwards there Well, we're all happy. I'm sorry. Well, overall, I think that the story is full of subliminal messages, irony, and even some sassiness that I perceive from the girl. Actually, I think that's maybe why I liked it the most though, about the story, you know. It has a really deep message that is hidden at plain sight. It almost feels like the author wants you to get the meaning of what apparently is a simple conversation between both of these plain but at the same time deep characters, without the need of him telling you that the real meaning of the text is. After you read between the lines, you start getting the characters, you can even relate in some level with them, and it becomes needless to say what you're talking about. He is persuading her to have an abortion, and even though you can feel that she's uncomfortable and not completely sure with the entire situation, she keeps trying to find a valuable reason for her to do this. And ultimately, with her agreeing with this just to be with him, as they were before, as she said. It feels like she's doing the ultimate love sacrifice just to show him how much she cares and how bad she wants to get back to their old days. You know, it feels like she's really frustrated. She doesn't feel right the situation that she's going to be on, but she keeps trying and she keeps trying to find a reason for it seems like life by itself. So he keeps the character of the guy keeps saying like, I will support you, I'll be with you, but and that but is a thing that makes me more uncomfortable, you know, because after all I think that every person has done a love sacrifice sometimes. You can feel like she is really trying to be with him and he is trying to do the thing that he thinks is the best thing to do for them. But at the same time, he doesn't really care about what she's going through, even though he's saying that if you don't want to do it, it's okay. So for me, that's a really interesting way to build a story without any context, and you can really understand what they are going to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amrox. Amazing, like amazing participation into this reading cycle. Okay, Edwin, can you go next, please?
Yes, teacher, I'm here. Good afternoon. The text that I choose is The White Hare and the Crocodiles by J.T. Murasaki. And my favorite part of this short story is this. Look, Mr. Hare, said the crocodile. It is nothing for my friends to form a line between here and Inaba. There are enough crocodiles to stretch from here even as far as China or India. Did you ever see so many crocodiles? Then the whole company of crocodiles arranged themselves in the water so as to form a bridge between the island of Oki and the mainland of Inaba. When the hare saw the bridge of crocodiles, he said, how splendid! I did not believe this was possible. Now let me comb you out. To do this, however, with your permission, I must walk over on your backs to the other side. So please be so good as not to move, or else I shall fall into the sea and be drowned. So the hare hopped of the island onto the strange bridge of crocodiles, counting as he's jumping from the crocodile's back to the other. Please keep quiet still, or I shall not be able to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thus the cunning hare walking right across the mainland of Inaba, not content with getting his wish, he began to jeer at the crocodiles instead of thanking them, and said, he leaped off the last one's back. Oh, you stupid crocodiles, now I have done with you. Okay, and what I think about this story? Well, I believe that the story can make us reflect on our action, the consequences they can cause. Um, I think that all the people in the world are like the here. We have dreams, we have aspirations that we want to realize, obviously, and sometimes we need to someone else to make it possible, like the crocodiles in the story. However, using others and taking advantage of their naivety to meet our goals, it's not correct, and much less makes fun of it, which was something that the hare did. We have to be honest with our intentions and don't lie about it. And if we don't, we cannot expect a good deed from others towards us because we have violated their dignity and probably they want to revenge. And this revenge may affect us more than we did. And finally, I believe that if there is an union and support between the people, we could make life easier. And maybe we could make this world a better place to live for everyone, regardless of our differences. And that's all.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I think the how the crocodiles organized was an amazing way of show how if society wanted and got together, they would be we would be much better. Okay, thank you so much. Now, can we have Juan Daniel, please?
Hi,
Hi.
good afternoon. And the book is read is The Haunted Mine. The book The Haunted Mine revolves around a series of dreams, mainly in a space between the dream and consciousness, the subconscious. Uh, where more than anything is focuses on reliving the life of the main character in the second person, remembering his life before reaching the final dream, which is death. The fragment that I like the most is in the depth of every years there is a tone and tunkeon, soft lights, the music and revelry. About my cause is to forget their existence and the buried arms of prisoners when I hide. I like this part because it remains who's that wins, especially in our fear or demons or rescission, word of bad, the thoughts that we never make come true, the music that we never hear, and the words that we never hear sight every time. Uh, this how us until the die within, they haunt us every moment as the earth feels love, which I thought we do not want to accept. It is here. The thoughts we found streets to forget come back, those for no reason, haunting us or making us loud, are before we did. I think it reminds me of the park. The richest place is the cemetery. There is the book that were never written, the song that were never sung, the word that were never said, and the inventions that were never invented. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Juan Daniel. Can we go next with Javier Pastor Camacho, please?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everybody. I wrote The Haunted Mine, and well, my favorite part was in the depths of every heart, there is a tomb and a dungeon. So the lights, the music, and the revelry above may cause us to forget their existence and the buried ones or prisoners whom they hide. But sometimes, and often as at midnight, those dark receptacles are flung wide open. In an hour like this, when the mind has a passive sensibility but no active strength, when the imagination is a mirror imparting vividness to all ideas without the power of selecting or controlling them. Uh, I chose this part because it makes me feel connected to the story, describes both beautiful and dark, the way we keep from the exterior our own guilt and shame, those moments that we wish weren't real. It makes me think how much I keep those thoughts from everyone. And even if I learn from them, they still cause struggles with me sometimes. And it's at those parts in the night where I think the most about them and where they most hurt me. Uh, those questions like, did I did something wrong? Is someone mad at me? Did I said something wrong? And so many more questions. I think the representation of this space in time where you're not dreaming, but you're not sleeping. It's really interesting, and I love that. That's all.
Thank you so much, Javier. Amazing participation. Karina, can you go next, please? Karina Hernandez.
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
I I reading of the her, the crocodile, and this story tells that the hare was helped by the crocodiles to cross the sea to fulfill his desired dream, but the hare was ungrateful and made fun of his assistance, so they took revenge on her. I think the moral of this reading is to value the friendship of others and to appreciate the help they give in difficult situations, whether at school, at work, or even at home with her relatives. And give us a clear example that not being grateful can have consequences such and revenge on other people. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Thank you, Karina. Maria Isabel, can you give us your opinion now, please? Which book did you read?
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Isabel Moscos Hernandez, and my favorite part of the story of the white hare and the crocodiles by J. Teodoro was this. When the hare had finished his story, the man was full of pity towards him and said, I am very sorry for all you have suffered, but remember, it was only the consequences of the deceit you practiced on the crocodiles. I know, answered the sorrowful hare, but I have repeated and made up my mind never use the seed again. So I beg you to show me how I may cure my sore body and make the food grow again. In my opinion, I choose this paragraph because it leaves you with a lesson that is about lies and using people. For if the hare had been honest with the crocodiles, they may have helped it cross the sea. But instead, the hare preferred to deceive them and had to pay the consequences of their actions. Sadly, this happens in real life. Sometimes we prefer to lie to people for waiting to save us from situation, I think, when we should be more honest because lies are always come to light. So the teaching that this short story is to be honest and kind to the people we love and no lie.
Okay, thank you. Now, can we have Shell Arias Torres, please?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Ixchel. My favorite part of this reading titled The Haunted Vine by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And okay, yesterday has already vanished among the shadows of the past. Tomorrow has not yet emerged from the future. You have found an intermediate space where the business of life does not intrude, where the passing moment linger and become truly the present. A spot where Father Time, when he thinks nobody is watching him, sits down by the wayside to take breath, or that he will fall asleep and let mortals live on without growing older. And in my personal opinion, I really like this paragraph because it is about time. The things we have lived, this past days turns into past, and it no longer matters if it was good or bad. In my personal opinion, the text makes me think that every day is a new opportunity to start again. Hopefully, time will give us a break and stop passing, but the really is different. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Maria Fernanda, can you give us your opinion now, please?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, I choose the Globin and the Huckster. Yes. I choose the Globin and the Huckster by Han Henderson. I read the history, and for me, this history is about how we divide ourselves into the things that are important to us, or we think that are important to us. The history is mostly about the Globin. He has three important things: the student with poetry, the jam in Christmas, and the huckster. But he don't understand how important each is, one of them, because at the final of the history, there is a big fire, and in that moment, he has to take a decision. He decides to take with him only the book he was fascinated by, and when the fire started to die out, the Globen understood that he forget a thing that is that he feels in his heart is important for him, the huckster. And that moment he understand that he wasn't important to him only for the jam. At the final is a way to show us the human nature. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Maria Fernanda. Abraham de la Cruz, can you go next, please?
The short history is the white hare and the crocodile. The paragraph that I like is this. Those the cunning hag walking right across to the middle of Innova. No country where Gerard has wished, he began to jeer and the crocodiles instead of the take it up. And sigh as he leaped off the last one's back. Oh, you stupid crocodiles, now you have done it when you. My opinion of the short story is that the hare was cunning and little at step of the crocodiles. It was not enough for him to deceive him, but also in the end he made fun of that. From there we can see that he is capable of doing anything necessary to achieve his goal. I like the story because it reflects that in the end a big action had consequence and maybe it was not the right thing to do. But he here understood that what she did was a mistake.
Okay, thank you, Abraham. Jesus Gabriel, can you give us your opinion now, please?
Yes, but I prefer to read the paragraph that I like the most, if I can.
Okay.
To be more fast.
Yes.
Okay, and it's the remarkable rocket from Oscar Wilde. Yeah, in the page number 2, I don't know if it's going a page because it's a two between the two parts. This part is when the prince and the princess are in the balcony, and they are watching the sky, looking for the stars. But in a moment, the the prince mentioned that it will be a show of fireworks because the princess never have been see the fireworks before in her life. So the king prepared a special show for her, and this was two paragraphs that I liked the most. and I will to read. The princess said, "What are fireworks like?" And she had asked the prince one morning, and she was walking on the terrace. They are they are like the aurora boreals, say the king, who always answer the question and that we address it to other people, only much more natural. I prefer them to stars myself, as you always know when they are going to appear, and they are as delightful as my own flute playing. You must certainly see them. I like this part because it's emotional and it's a moment that the princess discovers something new, and I feel so identified because I like discover new things, and well, I feel the emotion in this moment, and well, I'm more emotional, and in the entire story I like it too much this part.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Julian Alvarez, can you give us your opinion, please?
Good afternoon. The fragment I choose was from the short reading of The White Hare and the Crocodiles, and it
Okay.
goes like this. I am very sorry for all you have suffered, but remember, it was only the consequence of the deceit you practiced on the crocodiles. I think it refers to decisions we make every day, and depending on the decisions, they can bring us good or bad consequence.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Julian. Yes, decisions can bring us good and bad consequences. That's one of the main lessons that this reading has for us. Okay, Ricardo Josué, can you read your either your opinion or the fragment of the short story you chose, please?
Yes, good afternoon, teacher.
Good
The short
afternoon.
story that I choose is the white hair and the crocodiles. And my favorite
Okay.
fragment is I'm very sorry for everything you have suffered. But remember, it was only the consequence of the decision you practiced with the crocodiles. I choose well this fragment I like it because it's like a reflection. Because if you do something bad, uh, did the things back come to you, and because the hare took advantage of the crocodiles, and the crocodiles took the revenge of the hare, and in my opinion is that.
Okay, a little karmic that opinion, but that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and there's not right or wrong opinion. Every one of them, they're great. It's always good to hear somebody else's opinion about maybe some books that we've read, like all of us. So, Ricardo Josue, oh, okay, sorry, it was you. Josue, I'm sorry, Jose Juan Vega, please.
Um, Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The paragraph that I like it talks about dreams. In the dream, you carry a passport and contemplate its ghostly inhabitants. In this part of the test, I understand that sometimes we dream of people who are already resting. It refers to the fantasy of dreaming. It says that with the passport, you can contemplate its wonderful landscapes. It refers to the trips we have visited and we dream about it when we are asleep. Sometimes dreams are so real that they are enjoyed, that you want to dream more often. And you don't want to wake up, and when you last speed, it the bells ring with a rumbling sound to wake you up from your dream. Be opening your eyes so suddenly it seems that you have surprised the characters in your dream. This dream makes you remember the people you have met and who are unfortunately no longer with us. You dream of foods that are so delicious, but it is only a dream. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Jose. Okay, next we have Armando Santiago. Please, can you give us your opinion and the fragment you that caught your eye the most? Armando Santiago, are you
Hey,
there?
teacher, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Well, the book I read is Beyond Life, the Wood. Of
Sorry?
my favorite part, it's my favorite part is yesterday has already vanished among the shadows of the past. So tomorrow has not yet emerged from the future. You have found an intermediate space where the process of life does not intrude, where the passing moment drains and becomes truly the present. I explore where Father Time when he thinks nobody is watching him. Sit down, be the white to take a break. So my interpretation of the book is that it speaks about our dreams. How can you can enjoy beginning things and you feel as if time stops. But if you stay alone in that, you can get to like it's a nightmare. The chose to stop sleeping or even think.
Okay. Thank you so much, Armando. Next, we'll have Jorge Armando. Please, can you give us your opinion on the reading you chose?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Uh, okay. My name is Jorge Armando. Um, the reading that I read has a name: The Goblin and the Huckster, wrote by Hans Andersen.
Okay.
Okay, my favorite part of this reading is the next. The student nodded also as he turned to left, then suddenly stopped and began reading the piece of paper in which the cheese was graved. It was a leaf torn out of an old book, a book that ought not to have been torn up, for it was full of poetry. Yonder lies some more of the same sort, said the huckster. I gave an old woman a few coffee buried for it. You shall have the rest for sixpence, if you will. In it, I will, said the student. Give me the book instead of the cheese. Okay, moreover, I have to say my opinion about this part of text now. Um,
Yes.
in my opinion, this reading left a message, most important, since several times we doesn't know the importance of the reading or reader of the books. Such is the case of the huckster, in this case, who broke that book full of the poetry. Although I could say that for many people, the book is the biggest and most important invention made so far for the humans. For example, science, it has the ability to make people's ideas last forever. So as we will have realized, the reading is a simple practice in your increase and development, both intellectual and personal. Nevertheless, I can say that the poetry, it can teach us a lot about the world, for example, and not only in the love scene, but also as a vehicle for social criticism or certain world affairs. And it's all. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jorge. Eduardo, can you go next, please?
And yeah, can you listen me?
Yes, I can listen to you.
Okay, and hello teacher and good afternoon. And my name is Eduardo Bautista, and I read the story of the famous rocket,
Okay.
and where the rocket, who is the protagonist of the story, is a firework, who is considered a person of utmost importance. He regards and other fireworks and the animals they talk to as inferior behind and criticize them for not paying enough attention to them. The rocket is believed to be an unappreciated genius, although he is so sure he eventually found the recognition he lacks for his greatness. However, the rocket fails to do the one thing it was created to do, which is to amuse people by talking to the air and exploding in front of the public. And my opinion is I really like the story, and I think its author enjoy writing it. Thank you. So
Thank you, Eduardo. Really nice insight into the story. Johanny, itself, Guillermo, can you give us your...
Hi, teacher. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Bueno, the wait here and totally story for kids. Long lot ego wins all the animals culture lies in province Okinawa in Japan and leaded with here his home with an island. And you across this was the mining of Inaba. Note the hair wanted very much to cross over to Inaba the after did he would all night to shore and lot. Over the wet interaction of Inaba and the after the hot to fin sunwise teenagers. I will say my opinion. I would um, um, this part of ramen makes me sad. The hard lot get at this every day with being up to reach the place where he lived, and she was looking for ways and some point to be able to cross. One morning she was looking at the address where she lived when she suddenly looked and there was a large crocodile swim on the land. The important is that she did not give would unlike people we must always hold on to trends. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Johanny. Jesus Emmanuel, can you give us your participation, please?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My story, The Remarkable Rocket by Oscar Wilde.
Okay.
At the gate of the castle. The prince was waiting there to receive her. He, he had three violet eyes, and his hair was like fine gold. When he saw her, he son up one, uh, one knee and kissed her hand. The picture was beautiful, he murmured, but you are more beautiful than your picture. And the little prince blushed. She was she was like a white rose before Saya Jung page to his neighbor, but she is like a red rosnol, and the wild court was delicate.
Okay, that's it.
My opinion,
Okay.
I really like this fragment because of the way the prince praised the princess, and the way the subject talk about her. Everyone is very delicate, delicate with her, and that is what I like about night reading.
Okay. Are you finished?
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus. Okay, next we have Pedro Mauricio Ortega. Please, can you tell us which book did you choose and your opinion and short fragment, please?
Yeah, good afternoon. The book that
Good
I choose
afternoon.
was The Haunted Mind by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And
Okay.
the fragment that I choose was this one that it's read like this, and I like it a lot. It, it says, the moment of rising belongs to another period of time, and appears so distant that the plunge out of a warm bed into the frosty air cannot yet be anticipated with dismay. Yesterday has already vanished among the shadows of the past. Tomorrow has not yet emerged from the future. You have found an intermediate space where the business of life does not intrude, where the passing moment lingers and becomes truly the present. The spot where the Father Time, when he thinks nobody's watching him, sits down by the wayside to take a breath. On that he will fall asleep and let mortals sleep on without growing older. What I like about this is like give the meaning of time more valuable because it gives time appreciation because we don't have too much time. We have to appreciate what we have today and not worry about what comes tomorrow and stop worrying about the past. Just focus on today, the present. And in general, the book is what I interpretate from it. It's the fact that it seems to be the story of a man that's passing away from life and he's in his final last dying moments and he is starting to regret that he didn't appreciate all the moments of his life and he just let it all go through at the end, so he just dies and regretting that he just wasted most of the important moments of his life. And that's what I just read from it and I really like it.
Thank you, Pedro. That was an amazing participation. I love your insights. Um, Lorenzo Antonio Gomez, can you go next, please?
Good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon.
Um, and my opinion of the story is if the heart hand in the heart have not made fun of the crocodiles for doing what he asked them, the crocodiles won't have pulled his hair out. The empathy heart was happy where he wanted to go and enjoy it. displaced, but for his action, he was set for having done what he did. Um,
Are you done with your opinion?
okay. Now to hear what very much the occurs over in Nava. Day after that he would go out and sit on the shore and looking longly over the weather in the direction of Innava. And day after that he hoped to wit some well of getting across. On day, as usual, the heart was studying.
Lorenzo, are you there? Hello? Lorenzo? I think we just lost Lorenzo.
Se me había cortado el internet.
There, don't worry. Are you going to
And
finish your participation?
now,
Okay.
one day as usually, the heart was standing on the beach, looking towards the mainland across the water, when he saw a great crocodile swimming near the island. This is very look, dog, the here, no, I is saying, be able to get me wish. I will ask the crocodile to carry me across the sea. But he was doubtful whether the crocodile would consent to the what wanted, so he took instead of a skink a favor he would try to get what he wanted be a trick.
Okay, thank you, Lorenzo. And now we have Cristel Alejandra. Can you please give us your opinion on the reading you chose?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I read the Remarkable Rocket, and the part that I chose is this. I am laughing because I am happy, replied the Crocket. That is a very selfish reason, said the Rocket angrily. What right have you to be happy? You should be thinking about others. In fact, you should be thinking about me. I am always thinking about myself, and I expect everybody else to do the same. That is what is called sympathy. It is a beautiful virtue, and I possess it in a high degree. And I like this part because it is curious how when I read the text, I immediately identify people I know with the attitude of the rocket. Personally, I consider that the rocket was nothing than, more than a stick. However, I do not consider my friends to be simple. They just sometimes have selfish attitudes. And I mean, we have a bit selfish at some point. In fact, sometimes it is necessary to be so, but I think we should not be like the rocket. In in the end, he showed himself and did it alone. And I think that is what that kind of attitudes have as a consequence.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Cristel. Really nice insight. Pedro Manuel, can you give us your opinion on your reading?
Okay, teacher. I read The Goblin and the Huckster by Hans Andersen.
Okay.
This story is about the comparison of human attitude in different life situations and about people interest. There are four characters. There are the goblin, the huckster, his wife, and the student boy. Uh, for me, the goblin represents human conscience and common sense. The huckster represents the day-to-day and daily obligations. The wife represents the complexes or personal traumas, and the student child represents the positive attitude that we must always have. Uh, I'm focused on the last paragraph that says this is a representation of human nature. We are like the goblin. We all go to visit the huckster because of the yam. Uh, that's the paragraph that I read.
Perfect. Thank you, thank you, Pedro. That was a really nice analysis you made about relating the characters to each side of the human being. Next we have Manuel Perez Avalos.
Here. I picked the white hair and the crocodile. Well,
Okay.
I picked the segment of the reading. Just a tiny number of men who looked like king's sons happened to pass by saying the heart lying in the beach crying, stopped and asked what's the matter. The heart lifted of the hair from within his bath and answered him saying, I had to fight some crocodiles, but I was beaten, and they pulled all my fur and left me to suffer here. That's why I'm crying. No one on this young man had a bad or unspeakable disposition, but he felt kindness and said to the hair, I felt sorry for you. If you will only try it, I know a remedy will cure your sore body. Go and bathe yourself in the sea, and then come and sit in the wind. This will make your fur grow again, and you will be used wearable. Well, my opinion from this reading is that give us the little message from every action have a consequence. That's what happened to the heart. He have to pass two unfortunate events. The first one is lying to the crocodiles to make this to make a way to the other island, and insulting Saint Laser caused it to lose all his fur. And the second one is this because he lied again to one of the Kunis brother that he had to fight the crocodiles and where he has to those conditions. I think the heart could not have undergone that suffering if they had been sincere it was with Okuni.
Okay. Thank you so much, Manuel. Next we have Mauricio Cruz Hernandez. Please, can you enlighten us with your opinion on your reading? Mauricio, are you there?
Hello, good afternoon. I read the reading The White Hare and the Crocodiles.
Okay.
I am very sorry for all you have suffered, but remember it was only the consequence of the deceit you practiced on the crocodiles. My opinion in reading is about how we can not lie to people based on deception because this brings of great consequence to your life more when it comes to people we love.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Um, Now we have Luis David González Acosta.
Good afternoon. The story I read was The White Hair and the Crocodiles. Personally, I like this short story. It makes me a little nostalgic because it reminds me to those stories I used to read when I was a little kid. I like the message that this story tries to give us, that is always be honest and everyone gets what they deserve. My favorite part of the story is when the hare is completely honest and tells the fairy what happened to him, and what the fairy tells him is, I am very sorry for all you have suffered. But remember, it was only the consequence of the deceit you practiced on the crocodiles. It's my favorite part because I am completely agree that at the end of the day, the things that happen to us are the consequences of our actions. If we are good people, good things will happen to us. And if we are bad, then we already know what could happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and yes, it is a little nostalgic. That's why I chose these short stories. They're like short, precise, and sometimes they can even be for like children or adults. Okay, let's move on. We have Raúl Medina Ábalos.
Yes, teacher. Um, Hello, my name is Raúl. The story I will talk about is the white hair and the crocodiles. Um, for me, it's a good story. I like it. It teach you must be a good person and not be a bad person because can help a lot of the life. Um, as in the story, it says four men were going to seek Mary to the princess, and only the fairy, who was a kind of pleasant person, married her, for not being a bad person and helping whoever needed he needs the case the her.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Raúl. Now we have Dieter Ali Borello. Can you give us your opinion, please?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good
I read
afternoon.
The Haunted Mind from Twice Told Tales. I really like this reading because it reminds me when we feel discouraged and we don't know what happened to us. At that moment, our mind becomes an enchanted universe, and we have many thoughts that arise out of nowhere. So this reading allows us to explore this type of situation, giving it a touch of fantasy. I'm going to read a fragment of this reading. In the depths of every heart, there is a tomb and dungeon. So the lights, the music, and revelry above my cause ought to forget their existence, and the buried ones or prisoners whom they hide. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, last but not least, we have Jonathan, which will be our last participation of this session. Please, Jonathan, could you give us your participation, your opinion, and what you liked about the reading you chose?
Of course.
Hello, teacher.
Well, which Jonathan?
Yes,
Well, I
Jonathan Barahona.
read Abraona,
Oh,
sorry.
yes,
Yes.
it was Jonathan
Hello.
Barahona. Yes.
Hello. Um, the text is The White Hair and the Crocodiles. The part
Okay.
that I liked it was the following. When the hero had finished his history, the man was full of pity toward him and said, I am very sorry for all you have suffered, but remember it was only the consequence of the deceit you practiced on the crocodiles. I now answer the sorrowful hero. Would I have repented and made up my mind never to use deceit again? So I beg you to show me how I may cure my sore body and make the poor grow again. The history was about a hero that at one point wanted to be too smart, but life gave it back to time and had consequence. And I especially like it this part because it shows is how if we do things wrong at some point in life, gives it back to you, and then we have to try to avoid those bad actions so that we can somehow be better. Be better. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. I know that there are some that may have not participated. That's okay. You can upload your evidence for the complementary. Let me just, Maestra Catalina, ¿en dónde pueden subir sus evidencias de complementaria para que les comentemos de una vez? ¿Aquí en los archivos o en tarea va a ser? En los archivos, ok. Lo que van a hacer, chicos, es que van a crear una carpeta con su nombre y su número de control, ¿sí? Y van a subir sus evidencias de complementaria aquí mismo en el grupo de Círculo de Lectura en Inglés. Ok. That's for all of you. All of you have to do that in order to get your complementaries. Thank you so much for all of your opinions. Thank you so much for everything you have apported to this group. Let's hope that we can work on making this more often, and maybe like if you can suggest new readings, or maybe we can do something about a book club, that would be amazing. Now, for me, that's it, because I know that we said that we were going to be here from 12 to 1, and we took a little longer, but thank you for staying. Thank you for participating. And I hope to see you soon. Okay? Goodbye, guys.
Teacher.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yes?
Teacher, I have
I
a
have a question.
Who has a question?
Well, me, Padilla Flores.
Yes?
It's about of the video. If we can upload the video in YouTube and share in the archive the link of the video.
En YouTube y compartir el link del video en el. Okay. You can. I'll tell you in the WhatsApp group all of these things. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any doubt you have, you can ask it in the WhatsApp group.
Lo que pasa, profa, disculpe que le interrumpe, es que me acabo de unir, bueno, me acabo de registrar a esta complementaria, profa. Y
We already finished the video.
Bueno, jóvenes, agradecemos la participación de la maestra Larisa y la participación de ustedes. El objetivo de este círculo de lectura es fomentar sobre todo que los jóvenes estudiantes del Instituto Tecnológico del Campus Villahermosa tengan esa inquietud de querer saber más y conocer más sobre el idioma inglés, y sobre todo que ustedes practiquen. Ese es el objetivo principal, y agradecemos que hayan aceptado esta invitación de querer participar con nosotros y en el festejo dentro del marco del 47 aniversario de nuestro Instituto Tecnológico de Villahermosa. A nombre de nuestro director, Ángel Francisco Velasco Muñoz, le damos las gracias y tengan excelente tarde.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, teacher.
Have a nice day.
Good afternoon and have nice
Thank
day.
you. Bye.
Nice day.
Thank you.